Hey everybody, welcome to Astronomy 112. I wanted to make this a quick little video to give you an overview of everything you're going to be doing in the semester. And so this is a way for me to show you what to do in order to get the semester started. So first off, I'm Brian Gleim. Hello. This is Astronomy 112, which is introductory astronomy with an emphasis on stars, galaxies, and the whole universe. So we'll get into what that means and what's all the stuff that we're going to be talking about over the course of the semester in the next video. But for now, I kind of wanted to just get quickly through the nuts and bolts of the things you need to know to get the semester started. So I'm Brian Gleim. Hi. If you need to email me, Canvas is the fastest way to hear back from me because only students can send me messages through Canvas. And so the one place to go where I can get email from you and you can get responses back from me quickly is all through Canvas. So I'd say fastest way to get a hold of me outside of office hours is email me through Canvas. I will have office hours both virtual and in person. In the fall and spring semesters, I've got in-person and online classes, and so I have both kinds of office hours. If it's the summer semester, then I don't usually have an in-person class, and therefore my office hours are typically only virtual. But the times and locations for the office hours are there on your syllabus, so be sure to read that. In fact, be sure to read the whole syllabus, right? There's a lot of valuable information in the syllabus, and you want to make sure that you've got all of that here at the start of the semester. So make sure you read the entire syllabus. The one thing to say about office hours, which is true of all classes that you're going to be taking, is you don't need to make an appointment, right? The whole point of office hours is that you can just, I'll be in this location at that time, and you can just drop in. So no need to make an appointment. You can just drop in on those office hours and talk to me about whatever you need to talk about. When you're learning something for the first time, and this is an introductory class, so I'm assuming that you're probably learning most of the stuff in this class for the first time, it's going to be frustrating, right? Learning anything, doing anything for the very first time can be frustrating. It's fine, right? We've all been there, right? We've all learned this for the first time and been frustrated getting these ideas down. And so if you find yourself getting stuck, getting frustrated at some point in the semester, that's okay. Come into office hours, ask for help. Let me help you get unstuck so that the rest of the semester can go by more easily. So don't wait until you're absolutely at wit's end to come to office hours. When you feel yourself starting to get frustrated, that's the first time to come in, solve the frustration easily, and then you can keep on going. All right? Okay. There are only 2 required texts for the class. The first is our online homework system called Taurus, and the other is what we've titled The Cosmologist's Toolbook, which is a textbook of study guides and practice problems, and that's the other main way that we're going to be doing homework for this class. I'll show you both of those here in a second. The microtask textbook, the Cosmologist Toolbelt, is it's free. We've written it here at GCC, so I'm giving that out to you for free. The Taurus homework platform you do need to pay for, so that's the only thing that you need to buy for the course. There is not a sort of traditional textbook for the class. Like I said, the only required texts are the online homework and the microtask textbook. I'm not going to be assigning reading for this class. If you are the kind of person that gets something out of reading a chapter in order to help you out with the homework and that kind of stuff, then what I would recommend to you is the OpenStax textbook. It's just called Astronomy. And it is a free textbook that you can download or read online through OpenStax at that URL right there. The authors are very good at what they do, and so it is a good textbook. If you want a little bit of help somewhere along the way, I would suggest just going there. It's not a requirement. I'm not going to be assigning reading or anything, but at some point in the semester, if you're confused and, if you just need a little bit of extra help figuring out what's going on, then this textbook is a pretty handy way to have somebody explain a concept to you in slightly different language than what I'm saying, and that might help you out. So, that is there as a resource if you want to use it at some point in the semester. Basically, everything for the class is going to launch out of Canvas. So I've made Canvas your one-stop shop for everything for this class. If you need to email me or if I need to send out announcements to you, I'll do that through Canvas. The syllabus is posted to Canvas. My lecture videos and lecture slides are all linked through Canvas. The homework, the Taurus lessons, those will be linked through Canvas also, and then the quizzes and the final project for the class are all linked out of, or they're done through Canvas. So Canvas is basically the one place you need to go to do everything for the class, and then also Canvas has the grade book so that you always know how you're doing in the class. All right, I'll show you what the Canvas page looks like here in just a minute. Basically, the final grade for the class is calculated like this. The homework, the micro tasks, and practice problems out of the book and out of Canvas, that's 25% of the grade. The Taurus lessons constitute 25% as the lab aspect of the class. Over the course of the semester, there will be a series of quizzes that are going to quiz you on everything that we've done since the last quiz. We will have 7 or 8 quizzes. Sometimes the schedule only allows us to do 7. Sometimes we can do 8. At the end of the semester, though, I'm going to take all of your quiz scores. I'm going to take your top 5 quiz scores, and that's what's going to go into your final grade. So the lowest 2 or 3 quizzes, those will get dropped. And then your top scores are what will go into the gradebook. There isn't a final exam in the class, but there is a final project. So at the end of the semester, after you've learned everything and done everything out of the book and out of Taurus, you're going to get kind of a hands-on simulation about how do astronomers really solve these problems and make these discoveries. And that one big simulation will be the final project for the semester. We'll get more into that at the end of the semester. I've got another video that explains how you're going to do that. But just know for now, there's no midterm exam in this class. There's just the quizzes. And there's no final exam. There's just the final project. So it's a lot more fun than a class that has exams, frankly. But it's also more real, right? Science is about doing things, making measurements, making the discoveries, right? Analyzing your observations in order to discover what you can discover about astronomy, about the universe. And so that's why we have these Taurus labs and the final project, because they are more true and honest to what science is than exams. So, that's the class. That's the whole class. It's the homework, the labs in Taurus. Periodically there will be a quiz to cover what we've been doing lately, and then at the very end of the semester, it all wraps up with this final project. That's the whole class. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Let me show you real quick. Here's what the Canvas page looks like. When you go to the Canvas page for the first time, you can click on Start Here. All Start Here really does is takes you to the modules page, and you can just go to the modules page with that link on the left margin over there. But the modules page is where all of the assignments for the class are going to be listed. So I've got everything for the course listed in chronological order. all through the modules. So the modules are where you'll link everything. I've got a welcome message that I've written right here. Go ahead and read that. That's got some valuable stuff that you're going to want to know. I've got the syllabus right there. Download the syllabus, read the whole thing. After you've read the syllabus, fill out this syllabus acknowledgement form. I need that syllabus acknowledgement form signed by the end of the first day of the semester. Okay? This is how I'm taking attendance, basically, for the first day of the semester. And if I don't have you marked down as having attended the first day of the semester, I'm required to drop you from the class. So, read the syllabus and fill out that syllabus acknowledgement by the end of the first day. Okay? Here is a link to the video that you're watching right now. So, you're doing that. Here is the book. All right? So, here's the PDF copy of the microtask textbook. It looks like this. So here's the cover. Here's the front cover. What you'll notice is that the textbook it's a series of what we're calling microtasks. Okay, basically it's 2 pages. Each of these lessons is like a couple of pages, explaining the ideas, and it's got some questions there in the middle. But it's kind of more of a study guide. You can call it a study guide. All right. After you've read and figured out everything for those 2 pages, then the next page or 2 is practice problems. Fill out those practice problems, and if you're getting all those practice problems right, then you've got the idea down. If you're not sure, if you're confused, and if you're not sure if you're getting the questions right, if you're not sure if you're getting these practice problems right, if it's not really making sense, come into office hours. Ask me questions. Help me help you figure out what it all means, how it all makes sense, so that you can make this make sense. Because after you've finished the practice problems for that microtask, the last thing that you're going to do is this practice. So you're going to do microtask tool number 1, and then you're going to do this practice assignment. And this practice assignment is more practice problems to show that to help you make sense of the idea and to turn in that assignment. Okay, I'm not going to have you turning in these pages. What you're going to turn in is these practice problems in the practice assignment there on Canvas. Okay. If you would like this book printed out so that you have it on paper, I have a survey right here. So first day, if you would like me to have the book printed out for you, fill this out and tell me, yes, you want a copy of the book in hard copy. For me, having a book there to read and having a book that I can write my answers into and make notes on, it really helps me learn, and there's a lot of research that says that helps a lot of people learn the ideas and remember it better. I'm not going to require it. If you want to just read the PDF, that's all right if that works for you. But if you would prefer to have a physical copy of the book, I will have that printed up for you, no charge, and then I will send a message to the class when the copies are ready for you to come by, and you'll have to come by the department and pick it up there. But I should be able to get that done, in a day or 2 into the semester. So this is what I need you to do on the first day here, right? Read the syllabus, fill out the acknowledgement, watch this video. I mean, you're already watching the video. This is what you're watching. Download the book and fill out this survey. Okay? Do that right away. Once you've done that, then we're ready to get started with the class. Okay? All of the lecture materials are recorded as videos like this. If you click on the lecture video link, it'll take you to 2 things. First off, all of my lecture slides and PowerPoints and stuff, I've turned into PDF copies. So you can download that PDF. You can print it out if you want to, or you can just follow along on your computer or something. But these are just lecture slides to follow along with my video, if that helps you take notes. It's not an assignment, it's not required, but I've had a lot of students in the past that said that it really helps them take notes and follow along with the videos. So that's a resource there for you if you want it. And then this here will link you to a YouTube video for that lecture. All right, so go ahead and download the lecture slide, watch the video, follow along with that. All right. Once you've watched that video, like I said, all of the assignments are listed in the modules in chronological order. So you're just going to go through the whole semester and do every assignment in that order, right? So watch this first video, and now you're ready to start with the first Taurus assignment, all right? Here's what it's going to look like. So click on this link here. I have it set up so that it'll launch it in its own tab. It'll ask you to sign this. You say, read that and agree to that. And then it will, there it is, say go to course. And then all of the assignments are, the assignments are organized into modules. Oh no, they're listed right here. So you could you say view all assignments. Okay. And so all of the assignments are listed here. So since the module said do Intro 3 Science, you'll go do Intro 3 Science, click that, and say begin first attempt, and it'll start out the lesson there. All right? So this is sort of the format of all of the Taurus assignments, is it'll walk you through, like step by step, it'll walk you through the ideas, it'll have some videos for you to watch, it'll have simulations for you to play around with to see what's going on, and then practice problems and all of that. Okay? For the lessons, there'll be, in Taurus, there'll be the lessons, and then after most lessons, there'll be an application or an assessment. So that's both of these two here. If you finish the lesson is longer, right? Because the lesson has all the content. But if you finish the lesson, you get all the points. So all you got to do is finish that, and it'll give you all the points for it. The applications or the assessments are kind of like a little quiz after that, right? So click on that application and launch that, and it'll just be a short little few questions quizzing you on, did the lesson make sense? Here you want to make sure that you get the questions right, because if you get questions wrong in the application, then you're going to lose a few points. So go through the Taurus lesson, make sure it all makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, come into office hours and ask for help. Or post a question on the discussion boards and ask the question there. And once that all makes sense, then you're ready to take the application, get those questions right, get all the points, move on. All right? And then once you're done with that, then you can watch the next lecture video, and that's where I'm going to have you doing the first micro task out of the book, right? So answer all the questions, read all of Tool 1 and answer all the questions for Tool 1. Once you've done that, then do the practice assignment with a few more practice problems just to make sure that you have it figured out. For the practice assignments, for these microtask practices, you've got multiple attempts on it, but you want to make sure that you get the questions right. Because with all these practices, if you get a question wrong, it's going to deduct some points. So make sure that once you finish the micro task, that make sure it makes sense. Make sure you're getting all the questions right in the book, in here. And if you're getting all that right, then you're ready to take the practice. If you get some questions wrong, you can have another attempt, right? You can attempt every practice again, and every time you attempt a practice, your final score will be the average of your attempts. So if you do the practice and you don't do so well the first time, that's an indication that you should come into office hour and ask questions, post a question on the discussion boards, and ask me or another student for some help. Figure out what you did wrong, and then you can do the practice a second time, get all the questions right, and that'll improve your final score. All right. And then you'll do the same thing for tool number 2, read tool number 2, do the practice for tool 2, and then you're ready to do the next Taurus lesson called Tools of the Trade. All right. And so on. That's the structure of the class. Right. That's the end of module 1. And then once you're done with all the assignments in module 1, then you're ready to move on to module 2 and keep on going. That'll be the structure of the class, right? Watching the lecture videos, doing the micro tasks and the practices, and the Taurus lessons, and then the Taurus assessments, and then every so often there will be a quiz based on what you've done out of the book and out of Taurus and out of the lecture videos, and then once you're done with that quiz, then you're ready to move on to the next topic. That's the whole class. And then at the very end of the semester, there will be that final project that brings it all together. And that's the whole class. I think that's everything. Okay, so you're ready to get started with, if you haven't done it yet, read that welcome message from me and read the syllabus, and you're ready to go from there. All right. If you got any questions, shoot me an email or come into office hours, and I will see you there. All right. Have a good semester, everybody.